I'm going to call the Town Council meeting of Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 to order. I just wanted to say welcome to tonight's council meeting. As your mayor and providing officer, I want to read out the council meeting ground rules for all participants, council, staff, and the public, so that we all can be heard respectfully and fairly. To that end, please note the following requirements will apply equally to everyone in the chambers tonight. Decorum and civility. All comments must be directed to the mayor, who is the chair and presiding officer of the meeting. No comment should be directed to an individual member, staff, or member of the public. Side conversations, the whispering, crosstalk are not permitted. All remarks must be audible to the room and part of the official record. We ask that your electronic devices be silenced, please. Your texting, emailing, a message related to public business during the meeting may be subject to FOIA and should be avoided. No one should speak while another person has the floor. Interruptions will be ruled out of order. Council members will be recognized by the mayor before speaking. They may speak up to 2 times on any item with a combined total of no more than 10 minutes. Members of the public are allotted 3 minutes to speak during citizen comment time or public hearings, unless it's otherwise changed by a majority vote of the council prior to the meeting. During citizen comment time, council members will not respond directly to the speakers. Your responses or clarification or follow-up remarks may be offered later during a designated council comment time. Any member ruled out of order must yield the floor immediately unless the ruling is appealed to council in accordance with Robert's rules. Clapping, yelling, or outbursts are not permitted unless invited by the presiding officer. Disruptive behavior may result in removal from the meeting and, if necessary, expulsion from the remainder of the session. Speakers who exceed allotted time or violate the decorum may have their microphone silenced. Council direction to staff is given collectively through the town manager. Political commentary or attempts to draw staff into political matters are not appropriate. Staff are expected to remain neutral and professional. These rules are designed to protect the rights of all participants and to ensure compliance with the law and keep our meetings efficient, respectful, and productive. Thank you for your cooperation. Madam Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilmember Peterson. Here. Councilmember Pete.
Here.
Councilmember Fields.
Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Miles. Present. Vice Mayor Nickerson. Here. Mayor Wood.
Here.
Thank you.
I will ask Pastor Brian Dunston, Trinity Baptist Church, to please come and offer the invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, it's so good to be here this evening, assembled in this room with people who are very concerned about this town and community. And Father, as we prepare to meet, we pray that you would meet with us, that you would guide our thoughts, our tongue. And Father, let us work together as we plan and address the needs, the hopes, the future of this town. Father, we pray for those who are leading the process. You ask us to pray for those who lead, those who have authority over us. And Lord, we continue to lift them up. We thank you for their service. Use them as they are sitting in seats of influence. Use them to be influential in this town, dear Father. Father, we pray, God, for all of the community that showed up with an interest to better the places where we live. We commit this time to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, next on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes, Madam Town Manager?
Mayor, I respectfully request an amendment to tonight's agenda to remove item 8D and defer the associated presentation to a forthcoming council work session where it can be taken up with full staff reports and ample time for discussion. I would also like to request to move item 10H to 10A.
Okay, council, any further?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right, next on our agenda is a proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Month. It says Hispanic Heritage Month is observed annually from September 15th to October 15th, celebrating the histories, the cultures, the contributions of American citizens whose ancestry came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, the Central and South America. And whereas September 15th is significant as the anniversary of the independence for Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, while Mexico and Chile celebrate their independences on September 16th and 18th, respectively. And whereas throughout history, Hispanic Americans have enriched the social, cultural, and economic fabric of the United States through leadership, service, traditions, and innovation. Whereas the town of Dumfries recognizes the invaluable contributions of the Hispanic residents who strengthen our community through their dedication to family, hard work, entrepreneurship, and civic engagement. And whereas the observation of Hispanic Heritage Month provides all residents with the opportunity to learn more about the vibrant cultures and traditions that are woven into the identity of our town, our commonwealth, and our nation. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the town of Dumfries Town Council do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month in the town of Dumfries. And we encourage all residents to recognize and celebrate the many contributions of Hispanic Americans to our community and our nation. Signed by order of the town council, Mayor Derek R. Wood. All right. Next on our agenda is the approval of the September 2nd, 2025 Town Council meeting minutes.
Mr. Mayor, if I can make a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned and second to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion, commentary? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right, next on the agenda, citizen comment period. Madam Clerk, any citizens signed up to speak tonight?
We have one person signed up to speak, Christy Barkalow.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Christy Barkalow, and I know you guys know me as the president of Historic Dumfries, but today I am here, Mr. Mayor, for a totally different reason. Last meeting, 2 weeks ago, you announced at the very beginning of the meeting all the celebrations for the different awareness months, and you forgot one. You forgot Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and I know a lot of people aren't even aware that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month because it's something we don't like to think about. And next month it's going to be pink. We're all going to wear pink, and we're going to get very excited about supporting those mothers, grandmothers who might be battling breast cancer. But September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and many people don't even know about it. And the main reason, like I said, we don't want to think about it. But did you know that every day in the United States, 43 kids are diagnosed with cancer? That's a lot. That's a lot. And for every 285 kids, one of them will be diagnosed with cancer before the age of 20. Let me put that in perspective. There are 2,000 kids right here in the town of Dumfries. So 6 kids will have cancer before the age of 20. So maybe they've already fought cancer, or they will have it before the age of 20. Of those 6 kids, one of them will not survive. At Dumfries Elementary right this moment, we have at least 2 kids who have either already battled cancer or will be battling it before the age of 20. Hopefully both of them will survive, because it's only one out of every 5 kids battling cancer will pass away. But those 4 that survived, they will have long-term effects for the rest of their life. Now, why am I so passionate about it? Because it's cancer parents who are doing all the fundraising, because there's only 4% of the federal funding for cancer goes to childhood cancer. It's very rare, not so rare. But as I said, every day 43 kids are diagnosed with cancer. August 4th, 2014, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer. And that was a day that changed everything for us. She was only 13, and I had fought doctors. A doctor told me I was a crazy mom, and she was a lazy teenager. But in the end, she ended up having a very, very rare form of leukemia. She had a bone marrow transplant, missed her entire freshman year of high school, but she survived. So what can you do? Join the bone marrow bank, please. If you're not already in the bone marrow bank, join it. They just swab your cheek, and you're in the bank. You have a 1 in 500 chance of being called. So come on, join it. Also, donate blood. O positive, if you're lucky enough to be O positive, donate blood. Yay, because you're a universal donator. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
That's it.
All right. Moving right along on the agenda. Reports and presentations. Town Manager?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of Town Council, I would like to take a moment to welcome our new Deputy Town Manager, Mr. Keith Wynn, if we are allowable to have him say a few remarks, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, members of council, staff, residents. It's a privilege to be part of the Dumfries team, and I appreciate the opportunity to introduce a little bit myself. I started my career actually in the Army, served about 10 years on active duty in Iraq, Afghanistan, and a tour at the Pentagon before transitioning to a local government. I spent about 6 years with a city just up the road, Manassas Park. Did a lot of things, but towards the end of my tenure, really focused on economic development and capital projects. So, really good opportunity to join the Dumfries team and work with the staff here to get some of your exciting projects through. Other than that, I'm married. I have 1 child who's a newborn boy, about 9 months, who has already disagreed with me on everything. So that's been fun. I'm also an Army reservist currently. Actually got promoted to Lieutenant Colonel last week, so it's been an exciting couple of weeks. I've been here for about a week and a half and have met a lot of folks, learned a lot of things, and you have a fantastic staff and really looking forward to working with them. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Next on our agenda is a presentation from Stantec Pier on the Brownfield project update.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Again, I'm Joe Marisi with Stantec Consulting, the project manager for your EPA Brownfields multipurpose grant. With me here today are members of my partner organization, Pier Consulting, Dr. Aram and Ms. Clark. And we just want to give you kind of a brief update of what's been going on with the grant. I think the last time I spoke was in June, and so kind of give you an idea of what's been accomplished so far and what we plan in the future. So far, we talked about at the June meeting, we had a lot of kind of hoops to jump through to get the grant going. We've been able to do that. We've got our quality management plan. We submitted to EPA, got comments back, and the final version's being routed for signature this week. And so it should be submitted probably by the end of the week back to EPA. But in the meantime, we got approval from our EPA project officer to proceed with their assessments as necessary, including getting the property eligibility determination approved for the Campbell property. And so along with that, we did our quarterly reporting, caught up on all the quarterly reporting, and those have been submitted and accepted. Our next report will be due at the end of October. For site assessments, the phase 1 was completed on September 9th in preparation for the Campbell property in preparation for acquisition. That kind of goes along with them also completing the voluntary remediation program under Virginia DEQ. And I'll talk a little bit about what some of the restrictions on that property that go along with that VRP completion in just a second. And then in terms of community outreach and reuse planning, we're in the midst of a heavy effort to look at both the Grand Park corridor and the Campbell property in the waterfront district and the planning efforts associated with that for future reuse of those properties. In terms of that, we interviewed staff. We've talked a lot about or researched a lot of the existing conditions and what some of the needs are. We're about to host a visioning session on September 23rd that will kind of really pull in some input and potential reuses of that. So before I get to what the plans are, I want to just kind of go back to the Campbell property and its completion of the VRP. Along with that, there were some restrictive covenants associated with it. And as you can see, these are the three that really affect the property. Number one, groundwater use would be prohibited, which is not a big deal since there is public water supply available. Then the other two kind of apply to any future reuse and renovations or on the property. And those planning efforts will help us kind of inform us of what might need to be done in order to meet these conditions or revise these conditions for its future reuse. So for instance, right now, any structures can't be used for basically any kind of children's use without some type of mitigation system in place. And that would apply to some outdoor spaces too. And so if we, depending on what the reuses might be, we would need to look at further assessment, maybe just a risk assessment, which is more of a kind of a paper exercise, or actually go out and take additional samples in order to maybe change that reuse permission. So just a heads up that, we still got some work to do associated with the property. And again, that planning effort that we're talking about coming up is going to help inform what those conditions will be. In addition, for the Clive Washington Community Center. As you know, the EP grant funds can't be used for the assessment of that center, so we're working on a Virginia Brownfields Assessment Fund grant. It's a state grant that's offered that can be used to do that assessment work to determine, if there's any environmental issues, if there's any asbestos-containing materials, lead-based paint in the building that would affect any type of renovation demolition activities on the site. That application will be submitted. The next deadline or the next review committee is in 2 weeks, and so our goal is to get that in before the next committee meeting. And then, as I said, our next step from the assessment side for Campbell property is based on some of these reuse plans that we start to develop. What is the additional assessment needed for that property? For the community outreach and reuse planning efforts, we will participate in Fall Festival on September 20th. We'll have a table there with a survey for community members. We'll also be, of course, inviting them to attend the visioning session on September 23rd. That'll be held here in council chambers and next door to kind of participate in the act of planning for the reuse of those two properties and the town in general. Along with that, we've developed some brochures and flyers that will be handed out, and those are being approved by town staff this week to get out there and distribute and kind of advertise the effort that's going on. Once we hold the session, our staff will start to combine what they're hearing in those meetings, come up with some site reuse options for the 2 sites, and those will be that will be done by the end of October, be published for the town to review, invite community input again on those, and provide comments to kind of fine tune those things, and then hopefully finalize it by mid-December. The stakeholder feedback will be by mid-December, and then we'll finalize the plan by January, depending on comments received. In the bottom graph, I just wanted to kind of throw in there, that's a timeline of this grant. We're still very early on in this grant. We've got to 2029 to complete all the projects and expend the funds. So far, we're meeting our milestones needed for the EPA, and we're going to really, this next kind of quarter, really hit the ground running with assessment and planning efforts. And so accomplish many more of those metrics. So that's it. I think that's all I've got. Any questions?
Council, any questions? Chair Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for your presentation. Thank you for update. I do want to thank you for attending the Fall Festival. I know when I had my one-on-one with you guys, one of my key points was making sure that we heard from the citizens and that we met the citizens where they are. And I know I threw out that attending our events might be more fruitful than having a meeting and having people come to. If we go to where the people are, we're likely to hear honest impact from that. So I'm glad to see that level of commitment to getting engaged with our citizens. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for that presentation. Just a quick, some concerns I have here. Can you clarify when you were speaking of the study of the Clyde Washington building? Can you reference to that? Can you speak a little bit on that again, please?
Yeah, so that will be specifically an environmental assessment of the building to see if there's any environmental concerns associated with the building, or even off-site. An off-site property could be affecting that property for some reason. And so it's basically a study to make sure there's nothing affecting the building. We'll also look at building materials in the building, see if they have any asbestos-containing materials, any lead-based paint. I've been told there's a mold issue, so we'll look at all that and evaluate the condition in the building.
Okay, that's exactly what I thought I heard. So, real quick, am I to reference this to you to talk to the town manager? Mr. Mayor, I would like to know if we already have if I'm not mistaken, do we already have direction to knock this building down already?
No, we're in that's what this whole process is going on there. So there is no direction right now. We're doing just a full study.
Sorry.
Yeah. But that is the desire of the council that we put in there. But we're following the grant. This is just following the grant process.
Regardless, if you renovate or demolish, you still have to do this. This is a necessary step before you do anything with the building.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you on that. And then with my last on this take, that was clarity right there. Thank you. I heard you say on the completion of all projects. Are we just talking about the 2 projects here in town, or are you involved with other projects outside?
No, right now we're just focusing on these 2 projects. Now, most likely with your grant, you will be able to do other projects. But for now, we've only have direction for these 2 projects.
Sound good, and in the right direction. Thank you much for the clarity.
All right. Thank you for your feedback. We look forward to your continued community engagement.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, my volume on? Next on the agenda is, did we remove? No, presentation. A presentation from the Finance Department on the budget amendment. Okay. There we go.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, Town Council, residents. Tonight, we are presenting the fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed operating budget amendment. So before we begin, we're going to go to an agenda. Tonight, we're going to talk about the purpose of the budget amendment, the overview of the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as amendment. Then we're going to talk about the operation budget and summary of it, revenue summary, expenditure summary. And then we're going to go into some details and show you where those changes are in comparison to the fiscal year adopted budget of 2026. So the purpose of the budget amendment, according to the state code, is that if you have 1% or a change in 1%, you can amend your budget. A change in the amendments of the revenue as well as the expenditures. And this is the relevant state code that states that change. The overview of the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget as amended. The fiscal year 2026 budget, if this amendment is adopted, will increase by overall budget increase by $141,000, or rounded up $142,000. This includes a general fund increase of $121,000 and street funds increase of $21,000. Correspondingly, expenditures will also increase by $121,000 and $121,000 as well for the street funds. Summary. The budget amendment increases the adopted budget by $121,000 from $12,050,103 to $12,170,604, which represents the 1% increase. The increases, as highlighted, are in other local taxes of $30,000, roughly $31,000, going from $9,060,124 to $9,091,076. Another change in miscellaneous revenue, an increase from $600 to $50,600. An increase of $50,000. And then revenues from the Commonwealth, which were estimated in the adopted budget of $160,000, is now moved to $200,000, which shows an increase of $39,549. If you look here, you will see the breakdown as our tax revenues. Local sales and use tax increased by $5,000 when you compare it from $771,000 to $776,000. You will see an increase in business license going from $557,000 to $757,000. You will see a gaming tax decrease coming from $6,779,000 to $5,505,000. You will see another increase in our cigarette taxes of about $5,000. You will see an increase in lodging tax of about $180,000, and then you will see an increase in meals tax of about $215,000. Other taxes that are increased is miscellaneous revenue, and the state revenue will also increase. Justifications of why these are increasing. New economic development in the town of Dumfries, i.e. gaming, Rose Gaming Casino and Wawa, increased the revenue numbers for the following sources. Local sales tax and use tax is why that's going up. Business license, we've received 7 new businesses in the community, and we expect that number to grow. Cigarette tax, with the opening of the Wawa, we think that's going to increase. Lodging and transient taxes, we saw an increase in number of rooms in the Rose Hotel. And meals taxes, we've been seeing a lot of increases so far these last couple of months. The Finance Department also modified the gaming tax. The gaming tax was reduced from 6.1, as you can see, to 5.5 million, a reduction of about 9%, 574K to be rounded up. The amended projection reflects a budget estimate that is aligned with current events. The Colonial Downs actually recently closed the Rosie's, smaller Rosie's, and then also with some of the things that are going around on the national level, we feel as if Finance feels as if the gaming tax at this appropriate level will better reflect the revenue coming in fiscal year 2026. So now we're going to provide you an overview summary of expenditures under the new amended budget. Under the new amended budget, again, general government will now be $5,712,000, which is an increase of $334,000. Public safety under this amendment will be reduced by $312,000, and I'll explain why. Public Works, it will increase by $26,000 to $1.537. Planning boards and commissions will also increase by $82,000, will increase to $544,000. Debt service will remain the same, and non-departmentals will decrease by $10,500. So now I'm going to provide you a detail. The next following slides will break down each individual department budgets. All the highlighted are in yellow are the changes that everybody can see and follow. Under the town manager's budget, the changes are in salaries, part-time, FICA, VRS, healthcare, and group life. You're typically going to see these changes throughout the entire departmental budgets because we've increased the COLA. We put the COLA in as well as the merit raises. Performance measurement increased by $13,000, so the new number under the budget amendment would be $52,000. Advertising increased by $5,000. The new number would be $15,000. Printing, binding, and newsletters now increased by also $5,000, and registration, training, and travel also will increase by $5,000. The contingency to accommodate any changes or fluctuations so that we can have the appropriate funds to respond will also increase by $16,000. And then also the townwide branding campaign, we're increasing that by about $90,000 to about $140,000. Again, this is a breakdown of those changes. Town manager's budget increased overall by $115,000 or 8% when you compare it to the fiscal year 2026 adopted budget. Salary, wages, VRS groups saw changes due to COLA, the cost of living adjustment. The health insurance increased to $14K to accommodate a family rather than a single individual. When we initially budgeted one of the positions in the town manager's department, we mistakenly put it as an individual as opposed to putting it to a family. This is an opportunity for the finance department to correct that. Performance management increased by $13K. Advertising, printing, binding will also increase by $5K. Registration, traveling, and training increased by $5K due to new travel and training and travel plans that are being planned. Contingency increased by $16K to provide for unexpected expenses. And then townwide branding campaign again increased by $90K. The next department we will be looking at is town clerks. Very small changes here. Again, most of it is remaining flat. The changes here are simply the town clerk's budget increased roughly by $2,000 or 0.49%. But in fairness of transparency, we're going to share all the changes for each and every budget, whether they're small or large. These changes were begun because of cost of living and COLA, and the rest of this budget remains flat. So now we're moving on to the finance department. Again, overall 0.44%. A lot of the changes, again, are salaries and things. The only biggest change here is the equipment and repairs line for additional support for resources for the department. So again, salary, wages, VRS, et cetera, a change because of COLA, equipment increase by $2K, and then the rest of the budget remains flat when compared to the 2026 adopted budget. Here's the Department of Recreation and Civic Engagement. This is our next largest budget that has changed. Here are the changes highlighted within yellow. Salary and wages increased again by $32,000, going to FICA, VRS, health insurance, advertising notices, equipment and repairs, office supplies increased by $5K. The biggest increase is the historic tourism feasibility study. We are now adding that in, which is a new item in this budget amendment ads, and that's budgeted for about $50K. Here is a further explanation of those changes. Again, correcting the salary for the recreational events coordinator. And the original adopted budget of 2026, there was a misprint of the salary. This budget corrects that, as well as add a salary for a historic preservation coordinator under the department. Again, the increases for FICA, VRS, increases in advertising, equipment repairs, including a $2,000 for a chimp purchase, and again, office supplies increase for additional supplies. Approximately $50K for historic tourism feasibility study to help the town in that particular area. Now, the next budget is the treasurer's budget. Most of it remains typically the same. The only increase here is the 3% regional transportation occupancy tax, and that increased from $40,000. Again, that increased because as we begin to send more money, we get more money from the lodging tax. We also have to send more money to the county as well, and the transient tax. So it's a direct correlation to that. So the 3% occupancy tax increased $40K over the 2026 adopted budget. This is due to a corresponding increase in the lodging tax as stated before. The rest of it is similar to the same. Moving next now to the police department. Again, this budget contained a significant decrease of about 10% or $312,000. Explained due to a lot of the decreases. Salaries were adjusted to promote select officers to corporals, creating internal promotional opportunities within the department. The police department also received a COLA. Salary, wages, FICA, and health insurance were reduced because from the 2026 adopted budget, these positions in the budget amendment were eliminated. Sergeant, which was funded for mid-year, another sergeant, and a part-time captain, which created a large change in your variance going from a negative, going to a negative, pardon me. Appropriated funding for an accreditation manager to support the department's efforts to achieve its accreditation. It reduced, again, the part-time budget line was reduced to $54K, by $54K. Police officer salaries levels were increased to $74K to boost recruitment and competitiveness, and other contractual services were boosted or increased to $10K for additional cost.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
About how many more minutes on your presentation? We gave you a little grace,
Yeah.
but next time we got to suspend the rules for you because you went over your 10. So how many more minutes you got on this?
Sure. We've got maybe 5 more minutes. I'll make this one quick.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Public Works increased by 2% to $26,000. A lot of it is just simply the office supplies and the town beautification line. Next is the Department of Economic Planning and Community Development. A lot of the big increase here is the $60K for the retail recruitment. going from 35,000 to 95,000. Also, there's funding in the new budget amendment for the EDA, the Economic Development Authority, that was created, and that's an additional funding of $8,500. Non-departmentals decreased by the council's request about 10,500, reduced that by 16%. And then following up, lastly, is the street funds, which increased by 21,000 with the anticipation of new revenues coming in that the original adopted budget did not anticipate. And then the corresponding other contractual services also increased as well. Okay, here are your summaries of all your changes, both on the revenue side and expenditure side. Questions?
All right. Who's got it? Vice Mayor.
Thank you for that thorough presentation. When we're talking about money, I think you can never be too thorough. I'll leave it at that. As far as the branding campaign, for the edification of our residents and myself too, for that matter, could you help us by explaining in simple terms what the branding campaign looks like and what is the impact to the residents for the branding campaign? I have a two-part question, so after that, then I will proceed with the second question.
I'll call the public information officer.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, Town Council. Your question regarding the branding campaign. This will be pretty much a complete overhaul of the town of Dumfries branding as it relates to the town. A place where we drive to, not drive through. As we embark on this epic time of growth for the town, we want to make sure that our residents and our history is captured so that we are able to fully, the branding of the town is not just known here to the town of Dumfries, but to the state of Virginia. So again, we want to really embody where we are driving to and not just through. So as we acquire the new Campbell property, as we receive new retail development, as we just embark on this economic growth, we want to make sure that our town branding is on point, madam. And by doing that, we want to acquire proper branding companies and make sure that we are competitive, not just within our area, but within the state. So again, we're coming to Dumfries, not through Dumfries. So with that, we only budgeted for $50K. We would like to increase that budget by $90K so that we're making sure that we are in a competitive standpoint to receive good quality branding companies so that they can pretty much put us on the map even more.
So what I'm understanding is, so we've increased the budget so that we can bring in a contractor to help us with that branding. Is that what I heard?
Yes, madam. We have an RFP that is out, and we have received companies that can help us with our branding initiatives.
Okay, so does that, because we updated our logo within the past several years, so we're not redoing our logo, we're simply marketing ourselves, because with the new developments that we do have coming in, I understand the importance of making sure that we are positioning ourselves as a place where businesses would want to come to. So I understand the need for that. So I wanted to make sure that I understood and that it was explained very simply that what we're doing with this is this branding campaign entails bringing on a contractor to help us to make ourselves more appealing to, as we solicit businesses to our area.
Correct.
Okay, and with that, Madam Town Manager, if it pleases the dais, I would like if we could look at maybe a 90-day check-in to see how this is going with regard to once the RFP is complete and we bring a contractor on board, I'd like for us to have regular check-ins maybe at the 90-day intervals to make sure that we're getting what we're looking for out of whomever this contractor is, so we can have some milestones set to ensure that we're getting what we need, that we're seeing tangible results from whomever this contractor is, so that we don't end up in a situation similar to what we've had in the past, where we've had marketing companies that were not really delivering tangible results. We want to make sure that the branding is happening and we're seeing that we're getting some results.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Are you? Thank you.
It'd probably be good if you just, I know you got it posted downstairs, but just send the RFP back out to the council again so they can see all the deliverables that's in there with the milestones and see that it's not just a logo, but it's a brand story that's written in there.
Yes, sir. And I also intend that once the contract is awarded, to have the branding company come before the council, do a presentation before we begin the project to let them know what the deliverables are. But I don't mind doing that, sir.
Yeah. Question. I just want to question some of these revenue numbers because you said something that stood out during your presentation. You said you got about 7 new business licenses coming in, and you said that was going to generate an additional business license, 200,000. In my quick math, I just took it up to 21 and divided by 7, and I was like, that's 30,000. So our business licensing for these 7 businesses is averaging $30,000. That's just quick math for me. I don't know. I'm not that good, but
No, it's all good, Mayor. No, what I was saying was we've gotten 7 businesses that came in starting in July. That was new already. That was already in. We anticipate more businesses coming in. This is why we have increased also that revenue number. Also, previously, the town has done extremely well in the 2025. We actually exceeded our revenue number for that number, and we realized we actually had that business license revenue number lower than what we anticipated. So this budget amendment increases it because we believe this is actually the appropriate number with the growth that we're seeing and we're trending, and we think that we're going to be able to hit this number in 2026.
Okay. Yeah, I just asked about that revenue number.
Yeah.
That was a significant part of this budget increase was based on 200,000 in business license coming in.
It's an increase of 200,000 when you compare to the adopted because we're seeing the growth.
Thank you. That's good. All right, Councilman P.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was actually one of my bullets to compliment you on the presentation there, because I did reference to you saying that there were more coming in. I was like, did he say more? Oh, let's go. So yeah, great presentation. And I like the fact PIO that we moving on that to try to brand this town here as we moving forward with the waterfront project, and also a couple of our projects moving forward. Let's go, Dumfries. Let's go.
All right. Seeing no more questions on the finance, thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you, Council.
All right, next is our town manager, our quarterly report.
Mayor, if you can give me just 1 minute, let me pull it up. I have a rather extensive report. I tried to summarize it, so get it from 39 pages to down to 4. So if you give me a minute, just pull it up and I'll be able to talk through it.
Thank you for giving it to us all in advance to read. We
Yes, sir.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Okay, so why did it disappear? Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor Pro Tem, and Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of Town Council. I am pleased to present the town's quarterly report, which reflects our continued progress in advancing the goals of the strategic plan. This report is to show how council's direction has been implemented across the organization and how we are delivering measurable results for our residents, businesses, and community partners. Each department plays a vital role in this progress, from finance preparing for our bond rating presentations in New York on October 29th to planning economic development moving forward on small area plans and revitalization initiatives, to the police department enhancing public safety and accreditation efforts, to our public works and recreation, ensuring our infrastructure and the community programs remain strong. These efforts demonstrate our collective commitment to building a thriving and resilient Dumfries. This evening, I will highlight the work of each department, and we are all here to answer questions that you may have as it relates to this quarterly report. I'm just going to do some highlights. in the town manager's department, which includes human resources and our IT and PIO. Our wellness program, we're in initial research, which is underway with the town's healthcare provider in Prince William County to design a program aimed at reducing long-term healthcare costs. We ran into a challenge when it came to doing it just for the town because we don't have enough employees to reach that bar. So we're going to partner with Prince William County. Our communication outreach is steadily growing. Facebook followers rose from 736 in July to 884 in August. Instagram went from 1.4K to 1.5K, and X went from 1,491 to 1,516 followers. Social media promotions embedded for all events and in press releases. We are now advertising all of our events on our billboard, which is along Route 1 and 234. Flyers are now bilingual, which is in English and Spanish. Currently, we are working on developing the monthly newsletter, so that will go towards some of the advertising efforts that y'all seen in the budget amendment. In IT, you will see we've already launched our new town website. The MiFi lending program was rolled out to expand internet access, and IT is continuing to resolve our work tickets within 48 hours. The public access channel upgrade is in development to modernize the programming. In finance, our annual audit is on track for completion in December 15th, and our remaining tasks includes uploading GFOA, required documentation, and final on-site testing. Awards and recognitions in FY26, GFOA Distinguished Budget Award was received in July of 2025. The Triple Crown Award is currently in progress and will require the submission of the annual financial report in December of 2025 and the popular annual financial report in January of 2026. Our bond rating progress is currently 80%. The bond rating presentations are scheduled for October 29th in New York City. So a group of us will be going out there to do a presentation for them. We are anticipating a bond sale after we receive the rating in December of 2025. Our Treasurer's Division surpassed its collection rate, which was above 98%. DMV invoices processed within 21 days is still happening, and all transactions are being processed within 5 minutes, which is better than the 7-minute KPI. In our Planning, Community, and Economic Development Department, the comp plan implementation, so housing, transportation, trails, and tree canopy initiatives are active. Harbor at Quantico Creek Senior Housing Development is scheduled for completion in August of 2026. The small area plans for Main Street, Waterfront, Gateway hubs are currently underway. We're expecting to have a consultant engagement in place by November of 2025 and possible completion of the small area plans in December of 2026. Route 1 widening project is currently scheduled for completion in 2031, which will include bike pedestrian facilities, develop a townwide bike and pedestrian plan, which is linked to some of the up and coming small area plans. In economic development, we have our RFPs for branded and retail recruitment, which were released, and we're also hoping consultants will be engaged in the fall of this year. Our Business Expo is currently scheduled for November 20th, 2025 over at the Rose. We have surveys of local businesses, which are identified to identify needs, which is planned for October. In tourism and historic preservation, we're currently coordinating with Prince William Tourism. We have a meeting scheduled in October of 25 to align strategies. Tourism zone designations are currently under development for the Waterfront Roads project and historic assets. As you're aware, the EDA appointments have been finalized. Staff is preparing resources and financial structure for the EDA, which we anticipate to be completed between November and January of 2026 to enable loans and funds and grant pass through. The police department, community engagement, they currently hosted several community events, included National Night Out, Cops, Cones, and Council, and Shop with a Cop, etc. And they're planning additional educational programs like what to do on a traffic stop. Public safety and training. All officers have been assigned de-escalation training, which will be completed by October 1st. Crisis intervention training slots were secured for remaining officers, and 2 public safety town halls will be scheduled for November and March of this year, respectively. Crime and safety. We're targeting 5% of annual reduction in property and violent crimes. Official DCJS data is due in October 2025. Their youth engagement, they're expecting to have a youth academy in March of 2026. They have new technology, equipment and technology, new handguns with red dot sights were issued. They have new pedestrian bike, and we are currently working on license plates readers, which was funded by a Virginia State grant. We have hired an accreditation manager, and we're advancing towards accreditation between FY26 and FY29, which is the goal. We've currently restructured the police department, and we dealt with recruitment and retention. Some police officers received increases. They've received incentivized bonuses, and we're advertising campaigns to improve officer morale and staffing. In public works, in roads and stormwaters, they have recent inspections ongoing, 43 BMPs inspected with no corrective action needed. The beautification and maintenance, quarterly maintenance of parks have been completed, and we have multiple upgrades, town halls, landscaping, signage, new hanging baskets, Garrison Park restroom repairs, and Ginn Park fitness courts were upgrades. Renovations are currently underway for Merchant Park and the police department facilities. Currently, in environmental and sustainability, we was awarded the $1 million EPA Brownfield grant, and community workshops are being scheduled. Tree planting and beautification projects are ongoing. The waste management contract is currently under review, and we will be working together to get that RFP out shortly. In recreation and civic engagement, attendance growth and high turnout at significant events. Our 4th of July fireworks events had 3,000 plus participants. Our summer concert series had 2,748 participants. Back to School Bash had 503 participants. National Night Out had 345. Our youth and senior events, we hired 10 youth for summer jobs, so we met our goal on the KPI. The summer learning program will set to launch in June of 2026. And senior program is ongoing. We had dances and movie nights for our seniors as well. Excuse me. Community partnerships. We've engaged in new partnerships formed each month with the Office of Attorney General, local businesses, non-governmental organizations like Mainstream Recovery. They've utilized several engagement tools, which include Microsoft surveys, QR codes on our event banners, expanded flyer networks, use Eventbrite, patch, and digital billboards were all in use. Our program expansion, they're collaborating with AAU teams, DJs, food trucks, and resource vendors, health department, Boys and Girls Club, etc., to a diverse offerings. And finally, in our town clerk's office, and under record management, we had 100% of meeting minutes. They're being published within 7 days. 95% of our FOIA requests are being processed on time. Ordinances are being published within 30 days. They created a digital access. Online access is now available for all minutes, ordinances, and resolutions via the town website. And quarterly ordinance review process has been established, and timely submissions to MuniCode. In closing, the quarterly report reflects steady progress across all departments and demonstrates how council's vision continues to guide our daily work. While there is so much more ahead, we are moving forward with purpose, from strengthening financial stability and preparing for the bond rating presentation to investing in public safety, infrastructure, and community engagement. I want to thank the council for your leadership and direction, and our staff for the dedication in delivering results. Our next quarterly report will be in December of this year, sir.
All right, way to get it in 10 minutes. Exactly. 30 seconds ago, I was watching.
Thank you.
I was counting the time. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So at this time, at this time, I just really have to commend the town manager and the staff for the work that we've done here. As somebody who is on council, but also a long-term resident of the town, it really, you don't know how much joy it brings me to see the direction that we're going in and the progress that we have made. And I am so thankful for the work that you're doing. We've had our retreats. We gave you a vision, and you're carrying it out. So I do want to thank you, and I just want to say good job. Well done to all of you.
Thank you.
Councilman Peake.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a little off bar, but can y'all give me like 3 seconds and help me celebrate that town manager and that staff that they got? And oh man, you guys are just amazing. And what Vice Mayor call you guys the magic behind the curtain? Oh man, I want to come to the next show. You know, but good job, town manager. Again, out the charge. You hit a home run on these quarter reports all the time. The numbers are amazing. Mr. Ray, you and your department, outstanding. When you first got here, I was like, oh no, because I got big expectations on events and things. But Mr. Ray, hats off to you there, brother. You've been doing exceedingly and abundantly as far as our expectation go, and in the direction that we're talking about as far as bringing people to Dumfries. We've been loading it up. Thank you again for that department there, sir. Town manager, if you could, I didn't hear anything about the youth advisory committee. When you get a chance, can you just email us when they start, or let us know when they're going to start? Because I like to get that information. Okay, and then going back to the employment help bar, partnering with Prince William County. 2 concerns on that. One was, when we meet, do we have a chance to meet that employee bar to break the partnership with them and move on our own?
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat that for me?
Okay, so with the when we was talking about partnering with Prince William County, because we didn't have enough employees
For the healthcare, yes.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. My concern was, not saying we don't like Prince William County, but I do love the town of Dumfries, right? So if are we in a position to get to that employee bar? You don't have to answer that right now. That's just a question maybe for down the road, answer for down the road.
I do have the answer. We don't, currently the town does not have enough employees for us to host vendor health fairs alone without partnering with another locality.
Okay.
I believe the minimum amount of employees that they would allow was 250.
Ooh, okay. All right, so we'll talk about that later. Okay, but outside of that, again, town manager, magic behind the curtain. Good job, guys. Great job. Keep up the good work. Thank you, town manager.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great job. I just have the one park I wanted to ask about that I didn't see in your reports was Ginn Park on the beautification and the bathroom there. I think we've had the porta potties out there for a few months now, and so that was the one thing I didn't see in the report. And when any type of beautification or upgrades are going to start to be made at that park to bring it up to par with Merchant Park.
Yes, sir. James, are you prepared to respond to that question? Sure. Thank you, sir.
The porta pots is still there as a backup. The restroom has been repaired. We do have it up and running, but with some of the programs that Recreation was doing, we elected to keep it there for the basketball game as well as some of the other events. But we are prepared to take those out as soon as he wraps up with his event schedules.
And then it was just like the beautification, like with the landscaping and all that. I don't know, we were talking about, I don't know, overseeing in the fall or something like that. I don't know what the plans or the vision was over there at Ginn Park.
Yes, we are going through with a lot of your fall maintenance that we'll be doing, which would include some overwintering amendments and things of that nature. But then coming back in the spring with aerating as well as overseeding and looking at areas where we could install irrigation and things of that nature.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. It's good. Again, thank you for the detailed binder that you gave us in advance to read. It was good. I see you hit on and just refreshed our memory from everything that was written in there. So thank you for that in advance, and continue to keep up the good work on executing these policies.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next on our agenda is the consent agenda.
I motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. It's been a motion and second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right. Next on our agenda is a public hearing on the consideration of an ordinance approving CUP 2025, a conditional use permit to allow for the Cultural Arts, Entertainment, and Events Center at 3936 Lansing Court, an allowable use with conditions. Ms. Saber.
Is there another presentation available? Great, thank you. Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council. This is an application for a conditional use permit to allow the cultural arts, entertainment, and events use at 3936 Lansing Court. Let's see. The property is zoned B2 Neighborhood Business District, and the use is an allowable use with the following conditions. Events must end by 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, and they must meet all relevant code requirements in the town, including those related to buildings, fire, noise, and off-street parking. Let's see. A little bit of background. The town code includes a minimum off-street parking section, and the cultural arts, entertainment, and events use requires one space per 100 square feet. The building space for the proposed use is 3,000 square feet, so the required number of parking spaces is 30. There are 44 parking spaces provided adjacent to the building, and the number of spaces exceeds the required number of spaces by 14. There are other tenants in the building with parking requirements as well. This is the zoning map and shows the location and the B2 neighborhood business zoning designation. These are aerial photos of the property showing the building, and the proposed use would include 2 bays, which again would be 3,000 square feet. So with regard to the recommendation, on July 14th, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval of the CUP 2025-002. And with the conditions associated with the use, events must end by 10 p.m. on Saturday through Friday, and 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. I'm sorry, 10 p.m. Sunday through Friday and 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, and must meet all relevant code requirements in the town, including those related to buildings, fire, and noise. The Planning Commission expressed concern regarding parking, and subsequently staff met with the applicant and the property owner on July 30th and discussed the parking concerns expressed by the Planning Commission and potential conflicts with parking for other tenants. As a result of that conversation and following the meeting, staff recommends the adoption of the pending ordinance approving the CUP with a third condition that events not begin before 6 p.m. on weekdays so as to not compete with the parking requirements of the other businesses. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to respond to any questions.
All right, council, any questions on the staff report? All right, Councilman Pete.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Tabor, could you run those the time frame on those hours again for me, please?
Oops, I'm sorry. It's right there. So they are must end by 10 p.m. Sunday through Friday and 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, Mr. Tabor. Sounds good.
What was there, being that that's in a business zone, any reason why they have to stop their event, or the recommendation was to stop it at 10 Monday through Thursday in that business district?
So those requirements are in the code associated with the cultural arts, entertainment, and events use, previously adopted by council.
So they better not have an art party past 10 o'clock or they in trouble. Okay, Thursday. I'm just asking that question. It's just because but that's cool. All right. I know. All right. Councilman Peake.
To the mayor's point, just to make sure we clear with this, right? So on Thursday, 10 o'clock, Friday,
1
a.m.
On Saturday.
On Saturday. Okay. Yeah, this is what council approved of prior to the across the street, right? Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Was Chair Pro Tem.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Just for clarification, you said Friday, 1 a.m.?
1 a.m. Saturday morning.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Was the applicant here?
Do we have no, I guess not.
All right. We will now open the, was there any further questions on staff report? All right, seeing now, we will now open up the public hearing for this. Madam Clerk, was there anyone signed up to speak at the public hearing on this?
No, sir.
All right, we will now close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. All right, any further discussion on the consideration of this conditional use permit with the third condition for 3936 Lansing Court? All right, seeing none.
I motion we approve the CUP 2025-02 with a conditional use permit to allow cultural arts, entertainment, and events use at 3936 Lansing Court with the conditions, and allowable use with conditions as indicated.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion?
By ordinance. By ordinance.
All right. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Peake?
It's been motioned and said we're calling, there's a vote going on now.
I want clarity on this, Mr. Mayor. In reference to what you just said about Thursday being that it's where it's at.
I know, but right now you just have to vote and then we have to come back.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right. Next on the agenda is a public hearing on ordinance amending sections 18-21, 18-24, 18-36 on the town code of business license. Madam Attorney. Oh, Vice Mayor, did you have something? No? Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. There are 7 ordinances on the agenda for public hearing tonight. The two final ordinances that are now designated G and H are going to be offered up to the council in the alternative. However, all of the ordinances that are proposed are as a part of the comprehensive review of the town code, which was undertaken to ensure that the code is up to date with state law and also meets the current needs and practices of the town. Some of these ordinances propose entirely new regulations, while others amend existing code sections. I will provide you a brief overview of the new language that has been proposed and try to answer your questions as they come up. The first ordinance, which amends section 18-21, 18-24, and 1836 of the town code, amends an existing regulation. The current version of 18-21 makes it unlawful to conduct business without a valid business license or having paid the license tax. In addition to renumbering, the amendment proposes language that provides for a penalty for engaging in this activity. The penalty established is a Class 3 misdemeanor, and for your information, a Class 3 misdemeanor is punished by a fine which cannot exceed $500. The current version of 18-24 makes it unlawful to intentionally make a false statement on an application for a business license. In addition to renumbering, the amendment provides for the penalty for engaging into this activity and establishes that penalty as a Class 2 misdemeanor. Again, for your information, a Class 2 misdemeanor may be punishable by jail or a fine or both. The maximum jail time is 6 months and the maximum fine is $1,000. Lastly, Section 18-36 addresses the circumstances under which a business license may be suspended or revoked. At subparagraph 4, right now, the language only penalizes the actual conduct of a licensee. That means after the license has been issued, that's when the standard is applied. The amendment extends the fraud or the attempted fraud to the application process. These amendments promote effective and efficient government, and for this reason, I recommend adoption. That concludes my prepared remarks.
All right, council, any questions on the staff report? All right, seeing none, we will open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed to speak at the public hearing?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing no one signed up to speak, I will now close the public hearing. Okay. Any further discussion, question, Councilman Pete? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept to adopt the ordinance amending section 18 through 21, 18 through 24, and 18 through 36 of the town code.
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned and second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right, next is a public hearing on the ordinance amending 18-61 on the town code for alcohol beverage license. Madam Attorney.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance amends Section 1861 of the Town Code, which deals with alcoholic beverage licenses. As indicated by the title, it amends an existing regulation. The 1861 establishes the cost of licenses required for the sale of different types of alcoholic beverages. Most of the amendments bring our ordinance in compliance with state law. There are 3 additional amendments, however, that make substantive changes. First, at subparagraph G, which currently provides for on-premise retail license to sell mixed beverages at a motor car racetrack. The amendment proposes to delete that category, primarily because the town does not have a racetrack, and to replace it with a new category of on-premises retail to sell mixed beverages casino license. The new license category, the mixed beverage casino license, provides for the imposition of a fixed fee and then a $2 fee for each gaming station that is on the premises. At subparagraph I, the amendment proposes another new category, which is on-premises retail, specifically designated as a designated outdoor refreshment area license. Both of the new licenses are more in line with the current needs, foreseeable needs of the town. The other amendments bring the provisions into compliance with state law and promote efficient and effective government. And for these reasons, I recommend adoption. That concludes my prepared remarks.
Okay, council, any questions? Vice Mayor.
I have a couple questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So the mixed beverage casino license, boom, 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 $2 for each gaming station located on the premises. Does this impose additional monetary implications on our current business partners that we have here in the town that they were not expecting when they came to the town? Does this make a change to the revenue that what I'm asking is this going to make a difference in the money that they're paying us on their revenue?
If we have not, it's my view that the state law regulations would be in effect regardless of whether we had it in our town code. So technically speaking, if we were in the act of collecting this tax, then the answer would be no, because they are already paying it. However, if we were not taking advantage of that state law provision and not attempting to collect the license tax, we would not be able to collect those taxes except for the inclusion in the town code. So I can answer it only in that regard because I don't know if we were in the process or we had a history of collecting through the state provisions rather than relying solely on our town code for the collection of these types of licensed taxes.
And so the reason I ask that is because what I don't want to do is they just got here. And I don't want us to make a change that now imposes additional cost on them that they were not expecting, that then makes us look like bad business partners. And so I'm want to be cautious with this. And don't get me wrong, if it's a tax that they should be paying to us, by all means. But if this is a tax that they should be paying to us, and they're here now, and it's not something that they've already built into their budget and what it's supposed to look like, then I want us to figure out a way to work this in so that it doesn't hit them so abruptly and causes bad business. Am I making sense? So I would like for us to figure this out and figure out the impacts of this, and just in case it has a negative impact on our business partners, especially them because they just got here, and I just don't want that to be bad business. So with that said, I think that we need to do a little bit more research on this before we move forward with this. And so I would like to ask council that we table this particular ordinance until we can have a clear answer on that so that it doesn't have any negative impact.
I'll give you some backup information on that. To code.
So that's my question for now.
Yeah. All right, so the language you have is casino, which is a different class than what we have. We have class 3, which is gaming, right? So we have gaming. Gaming is regulated. All the revenue is regulated by the state, which is why we, in our lobbying package, went to the state for more revenue. We have nowhere in our budget book where we're collecting any taxes from the roles on their gaming. So we don't currently implement any or collect any tax. It's all regulated by the state. So all of our gaming revenue comes from the state, right? And I don't see our finance people here to verify that, but I can tell you with 100% certainty that's where all our gaming revenue comes from. So how does this casino language differ from gaming? Because casinos just came legal in the Commonwealth of Virginia in 2019. And so none of this was there, and Dumfries currently doesn't have a casino. We have a gaming emporium.
So, Mr. Mayor, there's a couple parts to the answer.
Okay.
First of all, with respect to, when gaming came into sort of fruition in the state, again, these provisions are grounded in state law. So the regulation would not be permitted if it was not permitted in the state. So whether it started in 2018 or thereafter, it's still only available to us if it's been sanctioned by the state, and this is a provision that's sanctioned by the state. With respect to the portion of the question as to the difference between the gaming and the casino, really when I was looking for through the state law regulations, comparing it to what we had in place, I saw this provision as being closer to what the actual needs could possibly be for the town, as opposed to the motor sports racetrack. There was no effort at all by myself to try to distinguish between casino and gaming. I just saw that as a potential revenue source and something that was related to something that was similar to some activity in the town, and that was the extent of it. If you don't mind me just kind of touching on what the vice mayor has suggested, some of these amendments really bring us into compliance. So some of our license taxes right now, we've kind of articulated it using the maximum amount for a category, but the state actually has levels that we miss. And so if we do not do anything other than to adopt or consider those amendments that bring us in strict compliance with the state law, and that in turn will, I think, substantively provide some relief to maybe an applicant. And then to the extent there's any desire to do a study or to consider the amendments further, maybe we can bifurcate it and just sort of not adopt those amendments that are proposed at subparagraph G and subparagraph I as a part of a motion if you decide to move forward. But all of the other ones where the numbers are being changed, we need to do that to be in compliance with state law.
Yeah. Are Class 3 gaming and casinos regulated by the same agencies in the state?
As I said, Mr. Mayor, I did not do any research around, this distinction between gaming and casinos and the different classes.
Yeah. Casinos are regulated by the lottery, and gaming is regulated by the horse race commission. So they're historical horse racing machines. And so it's two different agencies that govern it. And and it's a clear distinction, because we clearly, every time somebody says we have a casino, we have to tell them we don't have a casino. It's a gaming emporium. They're historical horse racing machines. We had to go to the gaming commission to surrender our license for the Rose and Rosies, and to get our license. All their licenses come from the horse racing. So I just want to make sure that we understand that the Rose is not a casino. Mm-hmm. It's a gaming emporium, and it's governed by two different licensing agencies. So, Councilman Fields.
Okay. Yes, with the ongoing discussion, back to what Vice Mayor was saying, and thank you for also putting the clarification out there, Mr. Mayor. If we did implement this, and this is for further discussion, even if we table it, it's something that could be talked about then. If we did implement this, we can put a projected date out, a couple of years, to be implemented in phases. Couldn't we do that? Could we do that, like half of it be implemented by 2027 and then it'd be completed by 2028 or something like that? So they won't have that drastic impact as you were talking about. They just got here, then we just imposing this on them so we could phase it out.
Mr. Mayor, so based on, as I'm understanding the question, it's like with the entire ordinance be made effective at either a future date or a portion of it sunset or something to that effect. I would think that because you've got some provisions that I think are actually required, a better course would be simply to approve it with respect to those things that appear to be required, which are at 1861-1 and 2, and leave everything, and then not adopt the additional proposed amendments. And then at some later time, if the council wants to revisit that, just bring that topic up at a later time, and we look at amending that particular section when everyone has, including myself, has some clarity as to whether it will have any immediate impact. Because at some point, if we don't have one of these establishments, then it's just on the books and it won't be of any use. But if no one's really sure, then it could have absolutely the effect that the vice mayor suggested, which is to, create a little bit of discomfort for our new business that wasn't expecting to have this. So I wasn't thinking of it in terms of anything other than being something closer to the activity that's actually going on in the town.
So,
and that part is not required.
Mayor and Town Council, y'all asked a question as it relates to the gaming tax. I did send a message to our treasurer. The gaming tax comes directly to the town from Colonial Downs.
Based on state tax code.
Yes, based on state tax
Okay.
law. Yes, sir.
Just want to make sure.
Mhm.
Vice Mayor.
So this is not talking about gaming tax. This is talking about mixed beverage with related to each gaming station located on the premises for purposes of the subdivision. Gaming station means each slot machine, which to me is very different than the specific gaming tax. So I appreciate the distinction that you offered, but as I read this, because I understand the distinction between casino and gaming emporium, but as I read this and it spoke specifically about the mixed beverages and how it is associated with each gaming station and slot machine, that's where I brought it home to Rosie's or the Rose, as opposed to the difference between a gaming emporium and a casino and the gaming tax revenue as you spoke about. However, based on what the attorney mentioned, if we could move forward with everything else and pull this out for now, that would satisfy my discomfort with this in the moment. And then if we can pull this out, move forward with everything else and table that for more research and bring this back as needed, then I would be good with that.
We still gotta have a public hearing and all that because we advertise.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still gonna say we don't have slot machines in Dumfries because it's a casino thing. So I know we got slot machine language in there, but Dumfries has no slot machines. We have historical horse racing machines. Every one of those machines runs 500 historical horse races at any given time. On those machines, they run a race. So it's all based on historical horse racing machines. We do not have slot machines. So when you bring it, let's make sure we got the correct distinctions on what we're doing here, because we don't have any in none of our facilities. All right, with that said, now we can, anybody signed up to speak at a public hearing?
No, sir.
All right, we will now close the public hearing. You want to make your motion?
Okay, so I make a motion that we move forward with the ordinance amending section 18 through 61, but I want to, now, help me with the language for this, please, to remove item G and H from this ordinance.
Okay. The motion that would work is a motion to approve the adoption of the ordinance amending section 1861 subject to the omission of the amendment language contained in subparagraph 5G and I.
Subparagraph G and I. Okay, so I make a motion that we move forward with ordinance amending section 1861 with the removal of subparagraph G and I.
I'd like to second that motion.
All right, any further discussion? All right, looks like we've exhausted the discussion. Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Peak?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right, next is a public hearing to look at the special license provisions with sections 18-62 through 18-77 of the town code.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance amending sections 1862 through 1877 of the town code, amends existing regulations. All of the amendments in sections 18-62 up to 1877 brings this ordinance in compliance with state law. The amendments to 1877 at town facilities, including the Jeff Simpson and Clyde Washington Community Centers, to the town property that will be governed by the vendor regulations. This ordinance will bring our code into compliance with state law. It will meet the current needs of the town, and it also promotes efficient and effective government. For these reasons, I recommend adoption. That concludes my prepared remarks.
Okay, council, any questions on this? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, is anybody signed up for the public hearing? I will now open the public hearing.
No, sir.
All right, seeing no one here for public hearing, public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the ordinance for amending section 1862 through 1877 of the town code.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Peak?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right. Next is a public hearing on consideration for ordinance for the ordinance amending section 62-205 of the town code, leaving vehicles on public property.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, ordinance amending section 62-205 deals with leaving vehicles on public property. As indicated by its title, it amends an existing regulation. The current version of section 62-205 addresses abandoned vehicles left on public property, as well as inoperable vehicles left on public property. In addition to renumbering, the amendments proposed will expand this section to address when parking is permitted on public property and when parking is not permitted. The amendments also define what is an abandoned vehicle and what is an inoperable vehicle for the application of this regulation. This ordinance meets the current needs of the town and promotes efficient and effective government, and for these reasons, I recommend adoption. That concludes my prepared remarks.
Vice Mayor. Question, so does this include public streets or is this just public property for abandoned vehicles?
It's public property in general, and it deals specifically with abandoned vehicles right now, but it will be expanded to include just regular parking and when regular parking is not permitted.
Yeah, because I think the biggest area where we constantly get called about, two areas is over on Old Triangle Road in Williamstown. And also behind here, as far as people parking on the public streets and blocking. And so there's sometimes cars and stuff being abandoned there. So, but if this is just on public property, that was just my question. So that works then. Okay, Councilman Fields.
You said something about Old Triangle Road. Could you repeat that, please?
I was just saying, sometimes there's a lot of inoperable and abandoned vehicles there with flat tires and, tickets there that's old, that's fading, and sometimes it has a boot when I walk through, and on trash day, they just
And
parked out there.
on Williamstown Drive as well.
Yeah, in Williamstown, yeah, both Old Triangle. But this is just on public property, not public streets. Right? Madam Attorney?
We don't define public property if you want to include a definition for that, but technically anything that's owned by the town would fall
Also the
into this
streets,
category. So it would
okay,
include our
okay.
parking lots and street parking and things of that nature.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Any Chair Pro Tem?
Yeah, so, and I know you already said this, I just want to be clear. This deals with abandoned vehicles on public property. And we're not talking about somebody who may be parked on the public street. Like if you reference Old Triangle Road, I might be parked on Old Triangle Road, but if I live in the community and I went away for the weekend, in 48 hours, is my car still going to be here? Because it's not an abandoned vehicle. Like, I just want to make sure, because when we talk about expanding for long areas of time, if it's a public street, are we only determining abandoned? And can we determine that a vehicle's been abandoned if it's only been
Yes.
48 hours? Mr. Mayor?
So we do have a way of defining it with the amendments. However, in part, the purpose of the amendments was to include when regular parking would be permissible and regular parking would not be permissible. So to your example, if you left your vehicle, you parked your vehicle, say in a parking lot, and just for the purpose of what you think is safekeeping for a couple days, and some of those hours were during times when parking is prohibited, then you can be ticketed. And that was kind of the purpose of pulling that into this provision, because there was an express need to having some form of enforcement if people were misusing, say, the parking lot here at Town Hall.
Okay.
Okay, Councilman Pete.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you I did go on. Go ahead.
So the consequences, excuse me. So the consequences of abandoned vehicles, am I correct? We're looking at 48 hours?
Yes, 48 hours has been
Yes,
written
yeah.
into that. Yes, sir.
Okay, so to Pro Tem's point, I'm formatted from growing up in this type of ordinance, right? And we were under a 72. Are we in position to move that to a 72? Which makes sense, because if we're 2 days, Sunday, everybody got a ticket. But if that car is not moving Fridays, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, now we're looking at something. I mean, because I don't see 48 hours as enough time for us to legitimately call that car abandoned. So are we in position to move that to a 72 for 3 days instead of a 2?
One of your functions is legislation, sir. You guys can decide how many hours you want or days. It's up to you.
Sounds good. If council's okay with that, Mr. Mayor? Okay. All right, and then another thing, Ms. Town Attorney, we mentioned the ticketing would go on, right? How many, is that up to us also? How many times are we ticketing? So if I have an abandoned car, I pay the ticket. I have an abandoned car, you come give me another ticket, I pay the ticket. How many times do we go back and forth with that part?
There are some provisions in another section of the town code that addresses the time frame in which the town would have to sort of deal with that vehicle utilizing just tickets. There is a point in time, and it's counted in days, where the town would be permitted after a certain amount of time to move that vehicle to storage, to charge the owner storage fees, and at some point thereafter be able to dispose it. Again, our code at that point marries with the provisions that are provided under state law. But this doesn't really talk to ticketing per se. We're trying to lay the groundwork so the law enforcement, if they feel it's necessary to do something, they have a foundation in place. Right now, the only foundation is limited to abandoned cars or inoperable cars. That's it.
And we are under clear definition of what an abandoned car is, correct?
That has been included, yes, sir.
Okay, because we're going to run into this with our citizens. That's why I'm trying to be a little proactive and making sure we make the right decision here moving forward with this, because this is going to come home with us. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, anyone signed up to speak at the public hearing?
No, sir.
I have to ask the question. All right, this time we will now close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept the ordinance amending section 62-205 of the town code.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion?
Yes, point of
Vice Mayor.
clarity. I thought we were amending this ordinance to 72 hours instead of 48.
Well, it's whatever the motion y'all make.
Right, so
So you were asking for an amendment? I mean,
can
it's
we have a friendly amendment to your motion, please, to amend this ordinance to 72 hours from 48 hours? If it's your motion, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Who seconded the motion?
Councilman Fields.
So
So just restate the motion and just say you approve the ordinance with the additional change of 48 hours to 72 hours.
So quick question, and just from my understanding of it, if the state law says it's 48 hours for an abandoned vehicle, are we changing it from what the state law would consider?
You can make it more, I guess, generous would be the word, but you could make it like more restrictive. So the 72 gives the person more time than less time. So you couldn't say 24 hours.
So we can give them
You can give
72
them more
hours.
time, but everything has been we tried to align it with this, like the definition for abandonment under state law, so people wouldn't have to think too hard about things if they know what's going on in another locality.
Mr. Mayor, if it's be okay, I would like to rescind my last motion, request a new motion to accept or to adopt ordinance ordinance amending section 62-205 of the town code with the amendment of changing it from the 48 hours to 72 hours.
A second?
Okay, it's been a motion and second. And Councilman Fields, you rescinded your second on his rescinded motion?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. It's been motioned and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing no further discussion. Okay, Councilman Fields.
All right, I'll go push back on that 72 hours. And this is the reason why. If you go up and down what we have now where a lot of these vehicles are, I've seen wrecked vehicles there. I've seen vehicles that's been there for way too long, just untouched. People have accidents, cars have crashed up. And we have to give them 72 hours to move an eyesore. I disagree with that. If there's an eyesore and it's a hazard, we need to get it out the way, not wait 72 hours for it. That's too much time.
Councilman P.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In reference to that point, if we have a citizen that needs a little bit of time to get their car together, I believe we as council should allow that. If a car is abandoned, it'll be abandoned for 10 days. It'll be abandoned for 20 days. You know, we know what abandonment is, but at the same time, we have cars. I watch around here. People work on vehicles all the time. We have people that may need the financial, that little extra cushion to be able to pick those finances up to go over to the auto parts store so they can get their car together. I believe we as council should be able to support our citizens moving on, being able to fix their car within 72 hours. I don't believe we should be hammering down on our hard workers and making sure that they make their car move in 48 hours.
Vice Mayor?
I agree with Councilman Pete. We are a working class neighborhood, and the difference in 2 days versus 3 days can make the difference in whether or not I can get my car towed or fixed. It could be the difference in whether or not, you know, my paycheck hit on Saturday or Sunday, and I made it to the auto shop place to get it fixed. The difference in 24 hours can make the difference in if the car does get towed and it ends up in the salvage yard or what have you, and now the bills get greater, and it's an even greater hardship. An eyesore from Monday to Tuesday is not going to make the difference in whether or not I can pay my gas bill, or you can pay your gas bill, but it will make the difference in whether or not I can pay mine. And so I think 24 additional hours is not going to hurt anybody, but it can help a whole lot of people.
I'm gonna say this, especially in Old Triangle and Williamstown Road, I personally get the most amount of calls. I get the most amount of complaints about that neighborhood, from the striping of the lines to where people are parking at, to people having multiple tickets on their cars, not moving and not coming back, to the amount of commercial vehicles parked on those big trucks and everything that's parking on. So it's probably the place I get the most complaints about, those cars sitting down. And when I walk through there, you know, I take pictures, I send them to the town manager, I send them to the police chief, all the pictures of the cars that have countless just tickets that's piled on, or people who just don't even move. And tomorrow will be trash day, and the cars will be sitting out there when the trash trucks and the school buses are out there, and the people trying to cross and cars trying to go around the school buses and the cars because the people haven't moved. It's one of those things where people have just literally taken advantage, right? And it has nothing to do with them having their car fixed or worked on. They shouldn't be working on it in the parking lot. I believe we probably have an ordinance that say don't work on your car in the parking lot type of situation, right? And so it has nothing to do. I'm gonna have to agree with Councilman Fields on it, because, you know, I hear it. I walk through that neighborhood on a almost once or twice a week just to see what's going on. And so I get stopped, I get pulled. People are constantly, it's the parking issues over there. I don't know if it's the HOA, I don't know if it's there. There are people who haven't touched cars years. Yeah, that part over there, just sitting there. So us walking through there and seeing it and getting the complaints. But we got a motion and we got a second. This is just a debate and conversation going on right now. So we're in the middle of a question. More debate, Chair Pro Tem?
Yeah, I got more debate.
Okay.
I just want to offer some additional context.
Okay.
Because of the structure of, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, because of the structure of HOA, because of socioeconomic issues, because of a litany of issues in that particular area that we're talking about. I understand what y'all are saying about eyesores and about things like that, but I also have been in Dumfries long enough that I remember that being weaponized against poor people that did not have the financial resources. I remember people's cars being towed because of classism issues, because it was predatory. And there are many people who, when we had stricter regulations, lost their vehicles just simply because they couldn't afford to pay. So if something is an eyesore, to Councilman Pete's point, 3 days ain't no eyesore. Now, if it's abandoned, it's clearly abandoned, that's going to be longer than 3 days. And I think we can give our citizens some grace and allow for 3 days. Now, nobody's saying 5 days, nobody's saying 7 days. We can give our citizens 3 days, and especially when we know that this is an area that has been preyed on enough as far as I'm concerned.
All right, I think the debate has been exhausted. Madam Clerk, repeat the question and call for the motion, please.
The motion that was made by Councilmember Young was to approve the ordinance and to change the 48 hours to 72 hours. It was seconded by Vice Mayor Nickerson. And the first person up to call is Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Pete.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Fields.
Nay.
Councilmember Young.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yeah.
That motion has passed.
All right, next is a public hearing considering the ordinance to authorize the town manager to compromise settled claims on behalf of the town of Dumfries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The ordinance authorizing the town manager to settle claims on behalf of the town is a new regulation. In summary, it authorizes the town manager to settle any claim, lawsuit, or legal action brought against the town under certain conditions. One condition is that the settlement has been reviewed in consultation with the town attorney and the town's chief financial officer. Second condition is that the amount in controversy does not exceed $50,000. The other conditions are that the settlement does not admit liability and must be in exchange for a full waiver and release by the claimant or plaintiff. This ordinance will also require the town manager to make quarterly written reports to the council of all settlements reached under this authority, and it prohibits the town manager from delegating this authority to another employee. This ordinance promotes efficient and effective government. For this reason, I recommend adoption. That concludes my prepared remarks.
Okay, council, any questions on the staff report? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, anyone signed up for the public hearing?
No, sir.
Okay, no one signed up for the public hearing. At this time, we will close the public hearing. All right, Councilman Pete.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to set a motion considering the ordinance authorizing the town manager to compromise and settle claims on behalf of the town.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Pete.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Councilmember Young.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right, next on the agenda is the public hearing to consider an ordinance repealing Chapter 14, Article 3, Division 1, identification and inspection of the rental unit dwellings. Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This goes back to what I was saying at the top of the hour. The last two ordinances would be offered to the council in the alternative. The first ordinance up is the ordinance repealing those sections that deal with the identification and inspection of the rental dwelling unit provisions of the town code. And then the next ordinance will deal with amending those sections if the council decides not to repeal. So starting with the ordinance to repeal sections 1495 through 173, Chapter 14, Article 3, Divisions 1 through 4, which I'm going to reference in summary as the rental inspection ordinances. The recommendation for repeal is grounded in a couple of primary facts. The first is that based on the town's records, it appears that we have not enforced any provision of this section since 2012. The current provisions also references a position of employment that would be responsible for enforcement that the town doesn't currently have in its personnel classifications. And it also provides for the issuance of a certificate of approval in essence. Again, that was, our record show was last issued in 2012. A recommendation for a repeal is also supported by the fact that many of the actions that are authorized through this particular ordinance can be achieved through the Virginia Maintenance Code, which this council updated at its September 2nd meeting. Because the code review process has as one of its goals to achieve a more efficient and effective government, it's my view that repealing a law that is no longer used promotes this outcome. And it's for this reason I'm recommending that you adopt the ordinance repealing the rental inspection ordinance provisions. And that concludes my prepared remarks.
Okay, any questions? I was gonna ask, how have we, I mean, you kind of answered in your report, it hasn't been enforced or done since 2012. You know, I remember, I think talking about this in 2013 on council, we brought up, because we have a large percentage of the homes over in the townhouse community are absentee owners. And we had a lot of slumlords who wasn't maintaining. So I remember this conversation about this very vividly back then, because of the issues of homeowners, the absentee homeowners not taking care of the tenant properties. And so, you know, I think we have to look at how we now, I don't know if it's a building inspector, code inspector, but we have a aging infrastructure over there, and I know we're as we heard from the town manager in her report, we're looking at the part of the comp plan that deals with housing, which has a section talking about the aging infrastructure in there, and so I don't know the answer. Right? Do we repeal it? Do we keep it? Type of situation. And so I think this is a great, healthy conversation to bring it up as we look at it. There are homeowners who complain because the landlord just leaves that property in whatever type of condition, and they're don't have the financial means to fix the property up or get the property up to code. We've seen some houses burn down both in South Cove and Williamstown recently over the last couple of years. And so, you know, I'm open to hear what the options are for repealing or keeping or enforcing or how we do this. So, Vice Mayor.
Honestly, I don't like it. I don't like repealing an ordinance that allows us to have authority over maintaining the beautification and safety of our neighborhoods. And unless I'm misunderstanding, that's what this sounds like. Because it hasn't been done since 2012, sounds to me like we should be getting it done. And to the mayor's point, you know, when we look at the fact that we have a townhome community and we have other rental properties that are on the horizon, I don't want us to give away this authority for us to be able to ensure that properties are properly maintained with safety, because I don't want us to give away this authority. And if that means then that we have to figure out who enforces this authority, then I think that that's the next discussion that we have. But I do not think that we should give away this authority, because it would then, I think, leave us subjected to safety failures, whether it's fires, whether it's upkeep, whether it's, you know, overgrown hedges and things of that nature, but and rodents, et cetera. Yeah, I don't think that we should give up this authority.
Yeah, thank you. And Councilman Fields.
The years that you're talking of, I happen to have been on the police department at the time and would often escort the building official at the time, whoever it was. We had a couple of great ones back then. And yes, they were very enforceful. They were very aggressive with these type of things. I agree with Vice Mayor. We don't need to get rid of this.
Councilman P.
I believe the way it sounds like a lot of moving parts and a lot of thoughts is going to have to go into this. Looking at it 3 different ways. If it's comfortable with council, Mr. Mayor, if we could table this for some further discussion on this so we can really make the best decision out of this, because this is going to be a strong one that can impact us one way or another. But I believe out of respect to the decision that we should table this for some deeper dive on this one.
I think we have 2 options here, right? There's 2 ordinances before us. Give us the 2 ordinances, and we're picking one or the other. Is that correct, Madam Attorney?
That's correct. So you have 2, but before you make a decision, let me just throw out, if we're going to defer consideration on one or both of them, let's open the public hearing, close the public hearing so that we don't have to re-advertise.
I was with you on that.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna.
Yes, sir. So if you want me to bounce ahead to the last ordinance, it amends those sections, presuming that we're going to keep them, obviously. And so the amendments are relatively minor. Some of the amendments go to wordsmithing, but there are a couple which attempts to bring the ordinance closer to what we have in place here in the town. So I made a reference in the first presentation that the provisions references a position of employment that we don't have in our classification. What I did is I took that title and I assigned it to the building official as one of the amendments, and also assigned to the building department the responsibility of enforcing those provisions, because that too wasn't fully addressed by the current language. We had a codes compliance department, which we don't have, but we made that our building department. So at least the current language made more sense within our organizational structure. So those were the obvious ways that we can kind of lend something. There's the certificates that seem to have to go out on an annual basis. So again, what was promoting the repeal is you're going to still have these questions as to, when can you actually enforce the section, because almost every rental unit in the town has to undergo some kind of inspection, whether it's on an annual basis or biannual basis. And then there's a certificate that is issued by the town if you pass that inspection. So there are a lot of requirements of this. And to all of the concerns about, safety, some of this can be addressed through the Virginia Maintenance Code. And those provisions are just as hardy. What I think these provisions do that the Virginia Maintenance Code does not do particularly effectively is give you entry quicker. Like you can enter the units more quickly utilizing these provisions versus the Virginia Maintenance Code. But it only works if you got somebody out there wanting to go in. And on that, another point is like some of the things in terms of outside of the units can be addressed through our Chapter 26, which is undergoing a review right now, but that deals with nuisances like the tall grass and the healthy conditions from the outside. But the amendments are, as I just described them, it's pretty much trying to make sure that if there's a position, it makes sense with our current personnel. If a department's responsible for it, it's a department that makes sense, not only by subject matter, but one that currently exists for the town. So that's the extent of the amendments for the other one.
So the first one, after we open up the public hearing, we could just vote down, and then the second one, we can vote up to keep it and strengthen it.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mayor.
All right. Let's check. All right. Any other discussion? All right. Seeing none, I will now open up the public hearing.
No public comments?
Okay. Seeing no public comments, I will now close the public hearing. All right. So where's my? So it's two separate motions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. And the first one. All right, so I'll make the motion for the first one. So it says, motion for the ordinance repealing of Chapter 14, Article 3, Division 1. And so that's to repeal it.
May I ask,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, what's the action you are moving for, to adopt or?
Well, I'm asking them to vote it down,
Okay,
but I'm gonna make the motion.
okay. Or you could just simply not let it die by lack of a motion in a second, if you want to do that.
All right,
I
I'm
don't-
gonna
you
say
know.
either way, it doesn't make a difference, however we can do it.
Okay,
But I don't think we wanna repeal it.
Okay.
So I was gonna kill it.
so. Moved to not adopt or not approve?
Yeah, we'll just-
Okay.
whatever's clever. Okay. All right. What just happened, clerk? Because
There's no motion? No, you made it.
There's no motion. You just read the statement, but you never said whether to
Okay.
approve or
Okay.
turn it down. And just a suggestion to make it easier, even for those who would read the minutes, I would say to vote to approve it and then just vote it down. That would be easier for everybody to understand it. To not cause a conflict or confusion.
Okay. All right. A motion to repeal Chapter 14 on the rental dwellings and inspection and identification.
Second.
By ordinance.
By ordinance, yeah.
Second again.
All right. Any discussion? My discussion is, let's vote this down so it dies a slow, quick death. All right. A quick death. All right.
Councilmember Peterson,
Nay?
Councilmember Pete,
Abstain. Abstain.
Councilmember Fields,
No.
Councilmember Young,
No.
Chair Pro Tem Miles. Nay. Vice Mayor Nickerson,
No.
Mayor Wood.
No. Town attorney, point of clarity, does Councilman P have to say why he abstained? Is there conflict of interest?
By state law, there's a requirement usually that you need to state why you are
That's
unable
why I
to
asked the
vote.
attorney.
Mhm.
So you have to state for the record why you abstained.
I don't agree. I mean, no, honestly, there's a lot of moving parts in this, and it's just it's not.
So you can't abstain, you either vote yes or no. You
No.
abstain when you have a conflict of interest.
And I do.
State your comment.
State your conflict of
Um,
record.
I'll change it.
No, I didn't say. I'll speak on no for this one, and I'll speak to my point on the next one. So no.
Okay, that motion does not pass.
All right. I now ask for a public hearing on the update of the rental dwelling. Is there anyone signed up to speak on that one?
No, sir.
All right, we'll close the public hearing. All right. Any discussions or motions? A motion that we adopt by ordinance Chapter 14, Article 3, Division 1, identification and inspection of the rental dwelling units with the amendments. Second. Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Councilman Pete?
Okay, so this brings me to the point here, right? So my take is, how far does the town go as far as moving on this, as far as the houses go, right? And how far does the town go, and how much are we responsible for the townhouses, and how far does the HOA go? Because we've been having a house that's abandoned in the townhouse community, and it's been there for some time. And we've spoken on this in email prior some time ago, and also with HOA, but the house is still abandoned. So where do we go with
So we're just in debate. There's a motion and a second on the floor. So it's like no question and answer. It's just a debate right now. You for the motion or you against the motion?
No, there's discussion on this, Mr. Mayor, because
We're in debate. There's a motion and a second. Parliamentary, can you give a point of clarity?
The discussion is limited to the motion, so why you're in support or why you're against the motion.
This don't.
Okay. All right, so there's still a motion and discussion. Are you for or against it? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Pattis?
All right. I think Town Council of Dumfries desires to go into now a closed meeting pursuant to section 2.2-3711 Alpha 8 and Alpha 4 to consult with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters regarding to the provision of legal advice and for the protection of the privacy of individuals and personnel matters not related to public business matters. Motion.
Second.
Okay. All right. So you need 10? Okay. All right. We'll meet. Okay. We'll meet back at 9:25. Is that good?
Oh, yeah.
24. Okay. Okay. Who made the second?
Vice Mayor?
Okay. All right. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
We are now in
All right,
closed
we're now
session.
in closed session. 1, 2, 3. Where's the clerk? Where's the clerk? All right, whereas council has completed its discussion in closed session and we're ready to come back out into open session, whereas everybody who votes affirmatively for this motion, that only items by which we went in closed session were heard, considered, or discussed based on the Freedom of Information Act 2.23712, the Code of Virginia. I'm gonna make a motion that we're gonna certify closed session.
Second.
All right, it's been motion and second. Please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Beat?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
We're now back in open session.
All right. It's nothing to report. So at this time, this meeting is adjourned.